Welcome back. State lawmakers return to the Iowa State House next month for the upcoming legislative session. And all week long, we're asking politicians about their top priorities and talking with the people that they represent. Tonight, we start with Republican John Dunwell, who represents Iowa House District 38, and chief political reporter Amanda Rooker spoke to Iowans in his district. Amanda?
Well, Todd, House District 38 covers Jasper County. It includes Newton, Colfax, and Baxter. I talked with Representative Dunwell, but also the people who live in this district about the changes that they want for their community.
It's good to see you. Stop back anytime.
Julia Prendergast greets shoppers as they browse the shelves at Fine Things Reclaimed, the store she's owned for years.
Hello, how are you? Very good. Good. Welcome.
She hopes state lawmakers will help her keep customers coming.
Making sure that we make it easy for small business as opposed to making it harder for them. Small business is the heart of every small town.
Another top concern?
Property taxes, they've just gotten out of hand.
Because her business relies on shoppers having money to spend.
Anything they could do to help the everyday person be able to afford a house and their property taxes would be huge.
Because of who I am, I bring up
Her state representative John Dunwell won re-election in November.
People have not seen their wages go up, but they've seen their house insurance go up, they've seen their property taxes go up, they've seen their grocery bill go up.
The Republican is pushing for property tax reform, what he calls truth in taxation.
But it's really allowing people to see what they're going to pay in property taxes prior to anything being voted in. And I'm talking real numbers, house by house, so they can have a voice and get a chance to engage with their local officials.
Others' concerns go beyond the economy.
I always worried about my kids, but now I would have to worry about my grandkids, and it's scary.
We met Calvin and Nancy Nickel by the Jasper County Courthouse. The two retirees live in Kellogg, but for years, Nancy worked at Newton High School.
You always wondered if someone would come in. I had a gal that I worked with that she says, oh, it's never going to happen in Newton. Well, I'm sure Perry people thought that too. And a lot of other smaller schools. Yep, it's never going to happen here. Well, it could.
Dunwell says he wants to make schools safer.
To say we have mental health funding issues, let's take a look at that. Making sure guns are not in the wrong people's hands. But at some point you have to ask yourself the question, what causes a 14-year-old white student from a middle-class family to wake up one day and decide he wants to commit mass murder? There's something broken in our society.
He says lawmakers need to address that question.
So I think there has to be continually looking at how are we strengthening families? How are we encouraging families? How are we creating that stability? And that's not an easy issue. That's not just even a government issue. But we want to make sure we're doing the right things in government that at least incentivize and help families and don't actually create greater problems and difficulties.
And looking at the breakdown of voters in this district, there are slightly more registered Republicans. You can see about 40% of voters are Republicans in this district. Then the rest of the district is pretty evenly split. About 30% are Democrats and 30% are either Libertarian or not registered with the party. Todd?
Thanks, Amanda. All week long, we're making the lawmakers across the state and the people they represent, from Des Moines to Marshalltown and Dallas Center to Ankeny. We'll bring you what your leaders promised to work on this legislative session every night this week on KCCI 8 News at 6.